Once again, my name is David Gikaria. We are here at Pangani Special Primary School on matters to do with education, and specifically bursaries that we normally give as an office, the Nakuru Town East Constituency, CDF office. First is to take this opportunity to thank the President for having accented his signature to the amendment on the CDF Act. The CDF Act initially had some figures which were very low in terms of enhancing education within our constituencies and by extension the whole country. So mine is to take this opportunity to thank our President of having accented to that bill, and now it is a law, where before the law had indicated that any constituency can set aside between 15 to 30% on matters to do with bursaries related to education. But the new act now reads that every constituency can decide to do between 15% and 40%. So we have an additional 10% in our bursary allocation, courtesy of the President, and we want to thank him for that, because it has pushed our allocation of bursaries now from 49 million to 61 million shillings. What does it mean? If there is anything that the President has done that I would vote for him in the coming elections in 2027, God willing, tutafika pale, it is to remember the bright children from poor families who cannot be able to advance their education just because their parents are poor. And we want to thank the parents and the students from public primary school. A student who has scored 350 and above, and to your surprise, we had up to 410 from our public primary schools. So it shows that parents should have confidence in our primary schools. The President has allocated enough funding in the Ministry of Education to cater for the free basic education. First of all is to request our parents have faith and trust in our public schools. What has the President done? 56,000 teachers have been employed, cutting across secondary and primary education. A figure that was only 70,000 since independence. So in 1 year, he was able to. So we want to tell our parents, our friends who have children in the public primary school, have confidence in government public primary school, because the results are there. And today it was a testimony of, we had over 100 students who are just fighting for 24 slots. So what have we done is that within the constituency, from here, this is Flamingo Ward. We are headed to Kivumbini Ward, later Biashara and the other two other wards. We are taking a staggering 120 students who have, from poor family, brilliant boys and girls from poor family, who we are going to pay for their fees. At least we thank God for the 4 years I'll be in the office. Thereafter, mambo itajipanga. So tunasema tumechukua in Flamingo peke yake tumechukua 24. So 24 times 5 is 120. It's unfortunate that the boy child is disadvantaged, because we have a school here called Maria Veronica, a boarding school for girls. We call it a center of excellence, that we take children from poor family, brilliant young girls from poor family, that we take to Maria Veronica. We take 60 of them that have to go to Maria Veronica. And then the other 60 we split, 30 boys and 30 girls across the constituency for them to be able. And this 60, we will pay for a school that they have been admitted across the country. Whether they have been admitted in Mombasa, Kisumu, here in Nakuru, wherever, the 60, 30 boys and 30 girls, we are going to pay. So we have a record. Sometimes I hear people praising Equity Bank and doing for having, just because they have 120 across the country, as we have 120 within the constituency. One constituency out of 290. So you can imagine what will happen of the 290. That is how powerful CDF and specifically the bursary allocation is important. That if we have 120 times 290 constituencies, you can imagine the number of bright, brilliant young children from poor families whose fathers and parents cannot be able to afford secondary education are going to get education. And that is a thing that we are proud of. And I am proud also of our public primary schools. They have excelled. Of course, we have not lacked one or two students who are from private secondary primary schools. And these are parents whose kids are bright. Principal of a certain private schools notices the talent that this boy and the brilliance of this boy or girl. So they decided to pay. We should not condemn such boys because they were in a private primary school and they have scored brilliantly just because they were in a private school. Others is because they are bright children, but their parents and the principals or a friend or neighbor had noticed that and decided to cater for the education. So again, we are giving that because sometimes the sponsor has already withdrawn their sponsorship. So we have taken it again. We have also accommodated at least 10% of the private students who maybe might have been assisted. So ours is to say that a record 120 students on full scholarship per year, per class. So it means we have 480 boys and girls out there in 1 year because we have Form 1, 2, 3, and 4. And after that, we don't stop there. We know the president has come up with a new idea on how we'll be sponsoring university students, but it takes time for them to be able to get monies and be enrolled. Again, on the first semester, any child on our full scholarship program, we pay their first semester fees in full, so that they will not have an excuse that I didn't start off with the others. So we again, any child who has been admitted in any university, the first fee that is charged by the universities from our program of full scholarship, again, we advance that so that we can, and then now we tell them from here now, you are on your own because we cannot be able to afford. And I'm saying this is that as we look at and thank the president for having accented his signature to that amendment, it's important now for us as parliamentarians to start thinking on what we say, one child, one shilling vote for education. One child, 1 shilling, not one vote, but at least one child, 1 shilling. We are saying this because I have a record 48 primary schools getting the same amount of allocation with another person who has fewer primary school, very few secondary schools. So you can imagine if I have 50, I'm actually lucky. There is a constituency which has over 200 primary schools.